Okay, so this is sat for about 24 hours now. I've started taking some of the tape off. I'm going to move it over to the bench and make some room for the door that's ready to be painted now. Got all this cleaned up. It's ready to go paint. One thing I think I forgot to mention before I paint, I am wiping everything down with mineral spirits. Clean rag. Make sure I get all the dust and junk off from wire wheeling and just dust that's in the garage. So I do that right before I paint. So I'm going to get this stuff moved, start getting this primed, wiped down and primed, and I'll be back. One other thing now that I've got this over on the bench, on the bottom of this, I chose not to paint it. For one, it's difficult to get to. I'd have to paint it after everything's dried and everything, and then wait another 48 hours for the bottom. For two, nobody's going to see it, except for me once in a blue moon when I decide to drain out the gear oil and change the gear oil. So it's not going to be seen. I've got it in there quite a ways. Nobody's even going to be able to tell as soon as everything's bolted down and this thing's put together. So yeah, that's what it is. Okay, before I got started on this door, let me show you one more thing. When I paint this, I want to hang this up so I can get the whole thing all at once. I have a wire hanging that I normally hang my parts to. It comes down, I have it bundled up so it's out of the way when I'm not using it, and I just pull down and hang the part from it. But I don't want a wire mark going across this when I paint it from hanging it somewhere. So what I've done is gotten a bolt and I put it in here, and it's got the square, I'm not sure what you call it, but when I put it up, let's see if I can get it focused on here. That square part catches and it lifts the whole bolt up away from the part where I think I can pretty well get everything painted. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to put one bolt on, a washer. I'm going to put that wire in between that washer and lock it down with another bolt. So I'm going to get this set up and then I'll shoot a little video of it. I'll be right back. Okay, so I just got the second coat of primer on. Now what I'm going to do with this door, I'm going to be wet sanding it, give it a nice shine. I did not do that with either of these parts because you can see that they're cast iron. There would be no point on doing that. But this, the inside of it, I probably won't wet sand, but the outside I will definitely be wet sanding, polishing and waxing. So the can for the primer says to wait at least 30 minutes before wet sanding. I'll probably go ahead and wait a couple of hours and then I'll wet sand this, and then I'll start putting on some paint, and then I'll be wet sanding the paint, and depending on how that goes will depend on how many coats of paint I put on. I'll probably put on 2 to 3 coats initially. I'll wet sand it. If I get any breakthrough, then I'll have to put a couple more coats on it, and I'll keep going back and forth until I like it. Once I like it, I will give it a polish and a wax, and that door will be set. I'll be doing that to this door as well. It's going to be a little bit tougher with the symbol right there because it pops out of the door. I'm going to have to be very careful around edges. I mean, even with this one, around all these edges, I'll have to be very careful. But anyways, as soon as this dries, I'll sand, get a coat of paint on, and I'll bring you guys back. Okay, so this has been wiped down, ready to paint. And this is what I was talking about. Got the nut, 2 washers, another nut, and the wire is pinched in between the 2 washers. I snugged those bolts up, so I pinched down on that wire so it won't fall while I'm painting. And I think we're ready to get this thing primed up. Okay, I've got 2 coats on this. I'm ready to sand it. This is what I've got. I've got 2 bottles. One is clear water, or strictly just water. The other one is soapy water. And I just used some old cleaning bottles, rinsed them out really well. I've been using them for a while, so if you're going to reuse bottles like that, make sure they're really, really clean. I've got a 240 sanding block. I've got, they said this is a 800 to 1000 sanding sponge. Then I have a 1200 to 1500 sanding sponge. Now you can see right here, I have a big ding. Didn't get it out. I'm not gonna get it out. It's whatever. Also, I'm not using any guide. Normally, some people spray a thin layer of paint as a guide. Once they get the paint down, they know they've gotten through the surface. I'm not going to do that either. I'm not trying to get a show car finish. I'm just going to clean this up a bit and go from there. So I'm going to get sanding a little bit, and then we're going to start painting. Okay, so I went ahead and sanded. This is what I got. These holes had high spots on them. Tried to bang out this a little bit. It's a little bit better, but there's still a little ding in there. So since I had to go ahead and re-primer, I wasn't going to do the sides, but I went ahead and did the sides. Didn't worry about the edges. I wasn't going to do the sides because of the edges, but since I have to primer anyways, I hit those sides. So now I'm going to hang it back up, re-primer it, and re-sand this front and see what we got.